thank you for being here. Up next, we would like to introduce Dr. Mark Dolan and his students.
I'm Dr. Dolan, and I'm very quickly going to turn things over to one of my students, to Daniel Payne, to sort of talk about the purpose of the project. I just want to say at the outset, though, what amazing people these are and how much I've enjoyed working with them during the semester. It's sometimes what they've done is a photo essay, pictures depicting diversity or reflecting diversity. And sometimes it's hard sometimes to reflect diversity of attitude, to reflect diversity of contention. And so they've done an admirable job with that. So I'm going to turn things over to Daniel and let him kind of do the more formal introduction.
Okay, yes, I'm Daniel Payne. Our assignment was to go around campus and the Ole Miss community and look at what diversity looks like. Obviously, there are some kind of stereotypical ideas of diversity, which are just as important as any other, but Dr. Dolan helped us to kind of push deeper to look at other levels of diversity. So I'll show you a couple of my pictures, and we'll move through just to kind of think of that. So here we have two of my friends who kind of represent stereotypical diversity in that they have different skin color, but by talking to them, by getting to know these people, you would find out that they have different religious ideas, and they're from different parts of the world culturally. The guy at the bottom right is from Pennsylvania. The girl at the top is from Rochester, New York, and her family is originally from India. So there's a lot of depth with each diversity, whether culturally or geographically or religiously. And even after all that, they have very similar personalities. These two people show the same thing. Two people, different skin color, yes. They are a couple, so that is a little bit different than maybe the norm that we're used to. But when you get to know them, you realize the way that diversity in their lives interacts with Harris Yates Chapel, which you can see the stained glass there. And understanding how diversity on campus and programs like this help them to feel included in the greater student body of Ole Miss. So as the rest of these students go, I would encourage you to look, maybe not just for the top level of diversity, but for all the levels that go down with each and every one of us, all the intersectionality that is part of every Ole Miss student. So with that, here are the next students.
Hi, I'm Mary Lindley Albert, and like he said, I'm going to show you for my diversity photos. This was one of my favorite pictures to take, and I think it's important for me to tell you that I did not seek out my diversity photos. They came to me in my daily life as I was going to class or eating out with friends. And so I think that's important because it shows that our campus is diverse without trying, and so is our city. This picture is actually a picture of a portrait that hangs on the wall at Volta, which is a restaurant on North Lamar. I went with my family, and we were seated right in front of this. And I thought it was so diverse because in today's world, we try to put labels on people and put them in boxes, like you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're straight, you're gay. But if we choose to love each other, we can go beyond those differences and see that we're all just people who want to feel loved and feel happy and be successful. So I think the most diverse thing you can actually do is love people for who they are. This is a friend of mine, Jacqueline. You'll actually get to hear from her later. I think this picture shows diversity because the majority of students come to class in what we call class clothes, which is, t-shirts, shorts, tennis shoes, but she chose to diversify herself, and she has her own style, which we would consider boho or unique. And by being true to herself, she's diversifying herself from the rest of campus. But she's happy, and she's who she is, and she enjoys that, no matter what people say or what people would have to think about her choice of outfit. This picture doesn't look diverse at first, but it's probably my favorite picture I took. I was unloading my dishwasher, and I threw all of the utensils on the counter, and they kind of fell like this, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this picture, because it shows that you don't have to go out of your way to be diverse. Like the forks are forks and the knife is knife, but they're all utensils. So even though the knife stands apart, it's still part of the group. So just by being who you are and being true to yourself, you can be diverse just because You're not trying to put a label on yourself or putting up a facade. You're being original and you're being unique. The last picture I'm going to talk to you about is this one. And this girl I met at the bus stop waiting for the brown line, and I asked her if I could take a picture of her. And she was diverse to me because she had blue hair. And until the last probably 3 to 5 years, that was very taboo to have brightly what they call non-normal hair. But I thought she stood out because of that, and I purposely left her faceless because I didn't want anyone to be able to say, oh, well, she's a punk or she's a rocker and she's got tattoos. Well, that's why she's got bright hair. If you leave her faceless, she could be studying to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. She could be anything. And so I think that's what's diverse about our campus is you could have blue hair and still go on to a fantastic profession instead of previously you'd be classified as in a separate category. And now you're going to get to hear from some of my fellow classmates.
Hey y'all, my name is Shika Shrestha, and I'm going to share you some of my diversity photos. So I actually just took this earlier this week. I was walking out of my accounting class, and I just saw this photo, or this sign, right in front of the circle. And what I thought was so beautiful about it was, I thought it was almost like giving us a window into the beauty, into the natural beauty of our earth. And obviously, it's an initiative by Green Grove about their Green Week this week, if you know about it. And I think what they're just trying to facilitate is this initiative of educating us, connecting us all, and empowering us as a community to come together and to foster this well-being of ecological systems and our environment. And I just really thought the beautiful part about this was the diversity of knowledge and awareness that can be spread here on our campus. In this photo, I was just on the square, so I had to go to Bottle Tree, and then this immediately caught my eye because I love how different these two newsstands are. It's really simple, but interesting in a way. You can see how the Citizen newsstand itself, it's kind of black and white. The kind of information you get from that newspaper is really direct, it's informative, and yeah, it just gives you that kind of information that you just read day to day. But what I love about the local voice is you can see its celebration of art and color and its appreciation of the community and the potential art that it has to expose to us. And that's what I really love comparing the two. You see something that's kind of stoic, but informational, and another one that's more colorful and a celebration of art. And my last photo, I actually also have a photo of Kendrick, and he's a friend of mine. He's a junior here at Ole Miss, and he came into Ole Miss thinking he was going to be a pre-farm student, study medicine, but now all that has changed, and he wants to pursue a career in choreography. And so now he's one of the co-founders of Hip Hop Revs. And just like earlier what Daniel was saying, how it's beyond the skin color of someone, but knowing more of his story and what he has to tell to the rest of the world, and how much of an impact he wants to leave through his passion to dance. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Pennington, and this is my first photo. I wanted to show y'all what goes down at the pavilion on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12:15. This is the Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated sorority, and they are strolling. And I think I wanted to show how our Greek life can often be really diverse on campus, and sometimes they can go unnoticed. And I wanted to show how unique it is what they do for us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And this is my second photo. I took this in the Grove during the Hidden Figures movie premiere. It shows a lot of multiculturalism. I actually was not looking for this photo. It just happened to come to me. I wasn't thinking about this project, and I looked up and I saw these 3 girls, and they were just having a good time. And I just asked them, could I take a photo? And they were like really willing to let me get a photo. And I think it is so beautiful. And this is my third photo. What caught my eye was the Nasty Women Unite. It definitely takes a jab at Donald Trump, but it also makes a bold statement on how women can often be body shamed and slut shamed. And this one, it makes a bold statement to me dealing with feminism. And what's unique about it is that it is on skateboards. Skateboards can often just be like associated with guys, but I wanted to take this because it shows the feminism on the skateboards. And this is my last one. It shows diversity of attitude. It shows how our students can often go in so many ways to make a bold statement and just brighten other students' days on campus.
Hi, I'm Clark Bartholomew, and I'll show you 3 of my pictures that I took for this project. First, this is a tattoo that a good friend of mine has, and if you can see in the middle, that's the Rho Chi, which represents the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Alpha Omega, a reference to God, and at the bottom is Sigma Chi, which is the fraternity he's a part of. I thought this was really diverse because at Ole Miss, when you would see Greek letters like this, you would instantly assume Greek life, fraternity, sorority, which is what he has at the bottom, but overall, what this is showing is he's always wanted this because his Christianity is a big part of his life. And I feel like at Ole Miss, people let their Greek letters define them, and this is him letting his Greek letters in his Christianity define him. Second, this is a picture I got over this Easter weekend. While I was sitting in church, I go to Grace Bible here in Oxford. As I looked around, I noticed that most of the college students at the church were using their Bibles on their phones, but while the older people, like this is a picture of my mom, was using her Bible as her Bible. And I thought that was just interesting diversity between technology, between generations. And lastly, I have the stained glass at Paris Yates, as you saw in Daniel's pictures earlier. But this truly, I feel like, is like a crux at Ole Miss of where diversity takes place, because the story goes that Paris Yates was founded because someone from a Jewish background and someone from a Christian background wanted to get married, and no one in town would do it. So the Paris family and the Yates family, which is where the two were from, decided to have this chapel built on campus. And I feel like people always say diversity in its own way brings us together, but this truly is an example of diversity bringing two people together.
Good afternoon, my name is Brenna Gardner. The focus of my photos is I'm an out-of-state student, and so telling people that I'm from Ole Miss, a lot of times I automatically get, oh, the Grove, football, and Greek life. And a lot of other things on campus are kind of skirted under the rug. So in my photos, I'm showing kind of more of the cultural side of Ole Miss. So this is G1 Lee, and she's a drum major here at Ole Miss. And I was talking to her because she's a friend of mine, and she was saying that she often feels like music is a big part of her life, but it's not given enough recognition at the school. And I went into the MEek School of Art the other day just to kind of, see if I could find any photos. And just on the first floor, there was so much art. And then I went to the second floor and there was more sculptures. And I was just astounded at how talented our students on campus were, but we don't necessarily see their artwork all the time. And so to me, it was kind of a lesson in diversity is always there, but sometimes you really just have to seek it out. And this fourth photo is at Square Books on the Square, and it says, Square Books recommends Iran, Iraq, Syria, Sudan, Libya, Yemen, and Somalia. And on the very bottom, if you can't see it, it says books are borderless. And this photo is especially striking to me because in the South, there's kind of an idea of conservatism, but really, even though Oxford is small, our pockets of thought are a lot deeper and a lot more worldly than that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Gibson, and so the first photo I have is of a graduate student here at Ole Miss. His name's Amir Ahmad. And a couple months ago, we recently had a rally in the circle against the immigration travel ban that was issued by the U.S. government. And this student, his family lives in Iran, and they can visit him once a year, usually in the summer. But when the ban was issued, his mother called him crying, saying that she didn't know if they were going to be able to come this year, since the ban was going to last until April. And so that was something that was really a big struggle for him, and it's a struggle for a lot of our international students here at Ole Miss, trying to find ways to go home when they haven't seen their family in years. And then last week there was a organized march around the circle by RASA, the Rebels Against Sexual Assault. And it was partnered with the It's On Us National Campaign Against Sexual Violence and Sexual Assault. And it showed diversity because you had survivors coming together to share their stories with members of the Ole Miss community, but you also had people who maybe knew a survivor of sexual assault or was friends with someone, and they were supported by the community there. And at the end of it, after the march, they had a glow stick vigil where they honored both groups of people. And this was another picture from the march, where they all got the chance to make posters and signs that kind of shared their story or their point of view about how they felt about sexual violence on campus.
Hi, my name's Hayden Binge. My photos I went to different events that took place on campus, put on by students that kind of celebrated the ideas of diversity and inclusion. So this is actually from the same rally that Jonathan was talking about that was held. This is Saeed Arab, and he was one of the organizers of it. And I got to talk to him just kind of about how this rally, they put it together, just to kind of have that support, show that support for the community that's being affected. And this is just kind of a crowd shot to show the different students that came and did come out to support for that. This is from the first ever Nepalese cultural night that took place this spring, put on by the Nepalese Student Association. And so he's kind of reciting a poem, but this night was kind of about sharing their culture with anyone who wanted to come. They had like song performances, a fashion show to show kind of their cultural dress, these poetries, and then they had a table outside that just kind of had some trinkets and stuff from their culture to show what it's like and kind of how it's different coming to Ole Miss and everything like that. And then this last one is from this Student Union Beam signing that the Student Activities Association put on. And basically I just thought it was a cool idea that all these people have signed this beam. You don't know their background, where they come from or anything. So there's so many people on here that could have different religions, race, ethnicity, everything like that. And just the idea that it's going to be supporting the way of our future student union. I just thought that was a really cool idea.
Hey, I'm Mary Elizabeth King, and I'll show you all my photos. So this photo actually came upon me. I was doing a project for this class, and it was about invisible people on this campus. So I got this really great idea to go and take a look at the employees on this campus. I was kind of looking at the displacement of the union and where they were all going, and I found this lady, and she was so awesome to me because she was like so excited, and she was like, you know, sometimes students don't always treat us the best, but we really love this campus and we're so loyal to these companies that we work for. And I was like, well, like, what's your plan? Are you going to keep working in the union? And she said, of course, it's a great day at Chick-fil-A and it's a great day at Ole Miss. So I really think that respect for these people is something that could go so far. I mean, they're so happy, and she had the biggest personality, and that's not always something that you generally think about when you think about the employees here. And so this was a picture that I took at the Mental Health Week. So Ole Miss Active Minds sponsored this awareness for mental health, and they did this really awesome event where they smashed scales in the Grove to deconstruct body image. So they had all these scales, and they wrote, this number does not define you. This is not what loving your body is about. And people took sledgehammers and would literally smash them. It was a really awesome place to be. But they would write on these cards, a number does not define you, or things that were really important to them. And so I think that this shows diversity of mental health, because it's not always something that we're just super aware of here on campus, but it is something that's huge and affects all of our students. And then this is my friend, Leah, and she's actually struggled with body image, and like she's very open about her mental health and how it affects her life. And so she came to this event, and I told her to pick one out to take a picture with, and she chose You Don't Own Me. And I think that really speaks toward the event and what it was about. So. And then I also went to the yoga event that they sponsored, and I thought it was really cool because you don't always think about guys doing yoga, and it was really cool to me that there were all these different people doing this thing that was really important for your mental health. And so I loved this shot that really shows the difference in gender in an activity that you would generally think was for women. And then this is a professor here. His name is Dr. Kelly Wilson, and he's a professor of psychology. I loved it because he has like this really awesome like gray bun, and I was like, that's such a cool shot, like I'm gonna get him upside down. And so he was one of the people that actually spoke at this event, and he just shows that, you know, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, mental health is very important. And so I just loved that shot of him. But next we'll hear from Savannah.
Hi, I'm Savannah Day. My pictures are kind of more about diversity of types of people on campus. So kind of what Mary was talking about with the employees on campus, I think it's a thing we often overlook. When you think Ole Miss, you think students and you think teachers. And so I took a picture of this man at the grill. It's a really happy place on campus. I wrote a story about it earlier for this class as well. But I think this picture just really shows kind of diversity of attitude and, like I said, diversity of types of people on campus because he is an employee at the grill, and it's not something you often think about. I also have this picture from the square this past Saturday. It's this really cool band of a mix of different people of different ages. I mean, different instruments that you don't often see played in just a random band on the square. And so I was talking with my dad about this picture actually, and he was talking about how cool Oxford is because this man here in like the seersucker pants and playing the guitar, like who knows, he could be a lawyer in Oxford. And you know, on the weekends he just enjoys getting together with the band, but during the weekdays he works really hard. And so I think that kind of shows, again, diversity of types of people in Oxford because there are so many different professions and interests that everyone does have. This is a picture of MEek, obviously, but I don't think we often think of Ole Miss as an art school. I mean, I don't think anyone really does. But when you do look at this picture or you walk in front of MEek, it's like, whoa, do I go to an art school? Like all the different art and sculptures in front. And so I thought this piece was really interesting. And it just kind of gives you a different perspective of what art students here on campus think about our school and how they view what school they go to. Finally, this is a picture of my friend Rachel. She's from Ohio, and with all us Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi folks, that's kind of far away, and it's in the north. And so I took a picture of her here with the Confederate Civil War Union, all that kind of stuff, statue on campus in the circle, because she does have such strong opinions. If you knew her, she'd love to tell you about it. Strong opinions about this statue and about kind of the culture here at Ole Miss. So even though she does identify as an Ole Miss student, she might not identify with some of the systemic beliefs of our campus or of the people that kind of built the statue and put it on campus. So I thought it was an interesting, diverse view of someone who is an Ole Miss student but doesn't really believe what some others would believe. So yeah, thank you so much.
I'm Rebecca Nassif. In my pictures, I really, as I took these, wanted to show how diversity is a lot broader than what Daniel was saying, what we stereotypically think of, even though that is just as important. So this first photo is what you typically think of when you think of diversity. In this picture, there are people of all ethnicities just waiting for the bus. That girl, in particular, in the end on her phone was speaking Spanish at the time that I took this picture. And it is a typical example of diversity, but it's just really shows how everybody of all races is exactly the same, and even though it is more stereotypical, it is just as important. The second picture is my favorite. I took it in the bathroom at Proud Larry's, and it's just a very positive message towards the LGBT plus community and gays in Oxford, and I think it also shows how Oxford as a town is a lot different from the rest of Mississippi, and we're becoming a lot more accepting of everyone as time goes on, and I just really loved finding this in the bathroom because you don't typically see stuff like that in a bathroom at a bar. And then this last picture is this piece that is for the awareness and memorial of everybody who's committed suicide, and it's in Farley. And I just thought this was really cool because as it's been up, I see a lot of students walking by and reading it and spending a few minutes there, or even just passing by and not giving it a second thought. And it's like Mary was saying about diversity of mental health. It's not something a lot of people think about, but it really does affect everybody on this campus. And I really just love this piece because I think it's just really cool, and it's something that everybody should be thinking about because mental health diversity is very important.
Hey guys, I'm John Talupas, and kind of for my diversity picks, what I kind of did was just kind of walk around campus, and I just wanted to see what I would find, and so it's kind of what I found. First, this is my econ professor, Latif Subair, and I really like this picture because you got him, and then you have all like the econ charts. Like during class, he'll just pull up the slideshow and just go to work on the blackboard, just drawing different types of charts and graphs and calculations, and he's from Africa, and he's got this amazing African accent that's so rich and thick and like really cultural. And so like if I'm just dead at like 2 o'clock, I know I get to walk in and at least listen to some badass African accent try to teach me econ. This one, I was just walking around the circle. I think it was a Thursday before everybody got out for a Good Friday, and so I just liked it because it was like the diversity of people there, and kind of their message sometimes gets lost a lot in college. You know, everybody gets busy, but I think it was like a nice little reminder the other day. I was like, all right, that's nice. This is my friend Yasmin. She's from Gulfport, and so we were just chilling in honors college one day doing work, and I was like, it's actually a really cool photo because I'm Greek and she's kind of Egyptian, so we kind of relate on that Mediterranean sea level, so it was cool. And then this is probably my favorite photo. This was taken outside the library. I was just walking in to get Starbucks because I got a terrible caffeine addiction, and I just think it's such a cool photo because you have your, stereotypical, white girl with blonde hair tried out, but sitting behind her is the two girls in the head wrap, and I just think like if you just stop and open your eyes, like diversity is all around us. You just got to take a look and you can find it.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm also from out of state. I'm from Ohio, actually. So, like coming to Ole Miss, everyone I've talked to about Ole Miss, like telling them that I was coming here, a lot of people actually were like, "Wow, that's really like, why would you go to college there? It's a bunch of like hillbillies and all that kind of thing." And then, or they'll be like, "Oh, have you seen The Blind Side? Is that the movie like, or is that the school from The Blind Side?" That's pretty much both reactions I normally would get. Very like seldom would someone say, "Oh, wow, that's going to be a really diverse experience, college experience." So I kind of think that, as Brenna was saying, we should kind of combat this stereotype and show that Ole Miss has a lot to offer, and not only Ole Miss, Oxford as well. So this woman her name's Pushpar, and she works at Peggy's Specialty Alterations, which is on North Lamar, and I went there for a project, and once you walk in, it's just, like, the energy is amazing. Everyone who's working there, all the women have known each other for years, and she moved here 6 years ago from Sri Lanka and actually did not know how to sew, but Peggy, the woman who owns the alteration shop, essentially like took her in under her wing, helped her, gave her a job, showed her how to sew, and now Peggy said that she's one of the best they have there and has been working there for 6 years, and they'll all get together and have barbecues in the back and go get lunch together, and they do like every year they celebrate Mother's Day together, and it's just like amazing, and that all these different women from different backgrounds are able to work together and just be such great friends, and they almost seem like a family once you walk in there. So Peggy even said, she's like, we have Muslims, like Christians, like everyone of all different religions working for us, and it's just working for her, and it's just amazing, and she wouldn't trade it for anything. So, okay, this was, so I guess with my photos, I was trying to like explore Oxford and Ole Miss, because I think although diversity, if you stop and step back and open your eyes, it's around us, it's also like you have to take initiative yourself, and that's the whole theme of this. It starts with MEek, like it starts with me. We should go out and explore and don't just do the things that everyone else is doing, like going to the football games or baseball games, or go try to see what else is like hidden almost in Oxford. And so, I don't know, like on the weekend, most people, I don't think most students like would really think of going to Lamar Park and just walking around, like wandering around, like rolling down hills. Like that's, I guess, not, I mean, I don't know anyone who does that. I mean, I do it, but that's not the photo. But, so I really like this photo because it just kind of showed how there's like almost a diversity of activities and locations around Oxford that, like, I would have never found Peggy's Specialty Alterations if I wouldn't have tried to go out and see what else is out there and talk to people. And then Lamar Park, we were just like, what should we do today? And I'm kind of bored. And as opposed to just being like, oh, let's just watch TV. It's like, let's go out and see what's out there. And there was a bunch of art sculptures. You can see the red one in the background. So we walked around and looked at all the different modern art, and it was really cool. So this shows the more the diversity on campus. So, I mean, I don't think you could be bored at Ole Miss because there's always something going on. Like, it's insane. Like, you look at this. Like, I mean, from the side, it was just like layers and layers of like posters over top of each other. Like, I know in the past month there's been a lecture about like medieval Islam. There was a professor from Shanghai who came, talk about Shanghai culture, and we were supposed to have a professor from Istanbul come. We had a professor from Indiana University who's originally from India come talk about multilingualism in India. So that was like, I try to go to one lecture a week that like might not be related to my major, just random. And I think trying to do that and take the initiative to go out and go listen to some random lecture, some random event, it opens up another door to like more knowledge and the diversity of knowledge and stuff that you might not have access to if you just stay in your classes and your major. So there's a big chance to have a interdisciplinary, like diverse learning here at Ole Miss that I think a lot of students don't really always take advantage of. So I guess that's that photo. And then in addition to undergraduate students, we have like a graduate school here and a lot of graduate students. And his name's Matt, and he is in the Masters of Fine Arts program at Ole Miss. And in his third year, he actually went to Reed College as an undergrad. So yeah, he doesn't maybe look as like diverse as like the stereotype of diverse would be, but he has an interesting background, and he's actually going to France to just write. And I don't know, I think it's cool to think of all the graduate students here that have such like interesting backgrounds and are doing amazing things. And our Master of Fine Arts program is actually ranked top 10 in the country. So I don't know, just another more like people to go out and talk to and learn from. Yeah.
Awesome. So you've seen things hopefully that encourage you with some new ways of diversity around campus, and maybe you've seen some things that need work around campus. So the question now is, we're kind of between Ole Miss historically, as you can see on the left, and the future on the right. And the question is, how do we get there? How do we get to a more diverse future? How do we get to a more inclusive future where not only everyone feels more included and welcomed to learn, but we can learn from each other and we can learn from new ideas. And I would propose that this is honestly just loving one another. There are lots of detailed problems to work through, but I think they all start from a position of love, and not just, a certain type of love that you would think, but that means respect of other opinions and other looks and other identities, and empathy towards people, recognizing that we're all humans, that oftentimes we have a lot more in common than we might first think. And hopefully when we all start taking on this viewpoint together, it's not that we all become one student body that's exactly the same, or that Ole Miss becomes homogenous across all spectrums, but that we're different. And I thought a rainbow is a good symbol for this, that together in our differences we're beautiful, that if a rainbow were just one color, it wouldn't be nearly as beautiful as it is with all of its colors. So I would encourage you to love one another and respect one another, and make Ole Miss a more open and safe place for all of us to come together, make it a more educational and beautiful place to be. Thank you.